So by the time we finished putting that concept together, it was beginning of 2010. And that's when a program called Greatness Business Club was born. I'm sure you've heard about it. And because we were at Navigators, struggling, paying rent and all sorts of things, but at least now we realize there's money that could come through the consulting. Navigators had a training room.
Yep.
So we just invited like 20 friends and like who are entrepreneurs, like, are you interested in whatever? We'll charge you 3K per month each, 3K per month. Pay as you go, are you interested? Yeah, so we got people like Okwi, people like Liz Kilili, people like Sparks. So it was people in our networks.
But you brought the price down to 3Gs.
Yeah, 3Gs. It was completely experimental.
Okay.
And somehow we could meet the cost because that room was free to us at Navigators. Yeah. So they came month 1, we went through the vision, whatever. Month 2, month 3, our phones were ringing off the hook.
Everybody wants now.
Everyone is calling us saying, oh, we hear there's this program you're running for entrepreneurs. So if you think back in context, back to 2010, there was no one else doing anything around entrepreneurship. There was no other program.
That one wasn't as sexy as it sounds now.
Yeah, exactly. And so even by the time we were getting to month 3, it was an 11-month program then in terms of how we had structured
11 months?
Yeah. So they just come
Once
for
a
one
month.
day, one day a month.
Full day?
Yeah, full day we learn. There was even food thrown into that 3Gs mix. But 3 times 20 is what? 60K.
Yep.
Yeah. So we realized there's some money here to be made. And these entrepreneurs seem to be many. So by the time we got to month 3, because our phones were ringing off the hook, we said, let's try another cohort because we have many other days outside that one day. So we advertised the second one and we said, this is too much value based on how excited these guys are. We are going to do it at 5K. We had 40 guys signing up.
Wow.
Yeah, so in fact, we had to do 2 separate cohorts because, we had a maximum of 20 for one class. But 40 times 5K is what? 200K.
A month?
Every month. Plus 60.
Okay.
200 plus 60. So
and that's for 2 days.
Yeah, 2 days of work. Okay, there's preparation, but as after you've built the content. So, we could make 260 Gs. So that kind of, began an upward climb. And that's the point at which we began to realize, okay, this certification thing, forget about it. We can continue down this path. Entrepreneurs seem to be in large numbers. Why don't we double down on this entrepreneurship thing and just keep building it? And so we kept getting other cohorts until by the time we retired the cohorts, I think we had done about 25 cohorts.
25?
Yeah, over 550 entrepreneurs.
And
today there are over 700, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That's powerful. Okay, kwa ground vitu ni different. So let me ask you, as a business, now I'm hearing about this wonderful side.
Yeah.
But now, because you're also entrepreneurs learning, do you first of all take yourself through your own course? Or are you just in...
Actually, it was more of the other way around. We trained these other guys. It works very well. Oh, this must be something we also need to adopt for ourselves.
Exactly.
And the first half was more the stuff around like strategy, culture, blah, blah, blah. The big picture of systems and processes. The second half, we would now partner with individual experts in legal, finance, HR, and the like. So they are the ones who deliver 2-hour sessions in the second half of the program.
You'd pay them something, of course.
Yes, but it was not very much wiggle room. Remember, it was 3K, then 5K. There wasn't much wiggle room. We would pay like 10K per session or something of a sort. But then we realized that we had unearthed a new business model of delivering professional services to SMEs. And so those experts that we were working with are now at the Sandbox. 10 years later.
That's so sharp.
Yeah, so that's where it built up from, because now we realized that we can do this program together. Many of them went through that program as well and realized that it had a huge impact on how their businesses were getting structured and growing. We would find people come in before long, their business is growing. They're doing business in 2-3 countries. I think the largest was someone who was doing business in 9 countries selling our software. So like we had this astronomical impact of businesses coming out of there.
Does the demand for what you're doing now go beyond this? So because you see
so much bigger now. Yeah.
Yeah. No. I mean, no. Even at that time, let me give an example. One of the things I love working with SMEs is not even per se sometimes for the amount they pay you.
Yeah.
Because that can be a headache sometimes. SMEs. But the cousin or the brother of an SME is the managing director
Yes.
at a different company.
Yes. Yeah.
So when we used to go and train companies for digital, and we shoot for them content, and they put that content to their WhatsApp group, family WhatsApp group, the big brother now wants your service.
Yeah, like who did this? Yeah.
For the company.
Yeah.
So did that happen to you guys?
It did, but
Did
it
it
was
move
a
you back
bit
to
different. It happened a bit different in that a lot of our SMEs bank somewhere. So if they would meet like their banker or relationship manager, and of course they're having the conversation of what has changed in your business. All of a sudden you're doing higher revenues, you seem more organized, you seem happier. They're like, hey, there's this program we are taking. So a lot of our guys would go and particularly tell their banks that, you know, they're working with us and there's this program.
Had a direct effect on the
on the bottom line. Yeah, on the bottom line.
That's all that.
And so all these financial institutions now started contacting us saying, oh, we hear there's a program that you guys are running that, you know, we have all these SME bankers. Maybe we can get into a partnership with you and you come and you train our SME bankers. So that's how we kind of filtered back into the corporate space. Ooh. So I don't know if you'd remember this, but there's a time Barclays did a 2-page ad and they actually had Wylde in that advert as a partner, because there's this program they were launching for SMEs where you'd get training and access to, you know, consultants and experts and stuff, and Wylde was one of the key partners. And so that's how we ended up back in that whatever. In fact, it's very interesting because that Barclays program was killed by someone in South Africa somewhere down the line, but just because of now our association, because of our association with the corporates at that point, we found that we started to grow into that space quite a bit. So banks and down to whatever now, you know, there's ABSA, we've worked with people like NCBA quite a bit for the SME customers. Jubilee Insurance, I think you've seen that partnership, all the way down to when Facebook contacted us.
Yes. So but Facebook was just the...
Facebook was 2018.
Yes, But now in this era we're at 20, what year?
So now we are at 2010, 2011, because that's when this cohort-based program is growing. We're beginning to make money again. We are beginning to learn that this program is not necessarily good for startups, but better for growing businesses. So now we'd need to come up with something else for the startups. So we started segmenting our offerings, but we just kept, you know, like adding more and more cohorts. 2010, 2011, then 2012, another election year. So another story enters there.
We're coming back to this story of 2012. Let's order some lunch. Let's ensure that at least you're well fed, and then we'll come back to this.
Mungu muumba yote, we wanijua, wanifahamu, mipango yako kunihusu, umeiweka mbele yangu, nifuate nyayo zako, lakini Baba nimelemewa, kwani maisha imekuwa vingine, matarajio hayakamiliki.